What's going on, yeah? It says it started recording at like 9 seconds. So if there's 7, 8 seconds of silence at the beginning of this, I apologize. I'm not sure why that is. But I figured I'd make a little bit different video today. A lot of my viewers are baseball people because I do cover some baseball related things. But today, I want to talk about just book publishing itself. Obviously, my experience in book publishing has come with baseball books. For those of you who may be watching this video who don't know really who I am, I've published one book. This is the first one, Umpire Diary, My Personal Journey Experiences Beginning an Umpire Career. Paperback and hardcover. Published this through a hybrid press, and so it's available on Amazon as well as PayHip. On my channel, you go to the about the channel section, and the link to the PayHip is there. If anybody's interested in that, of course, this is my day-by-day diary that I kept up during my first year umpiring baseball and going through the premier umpire school in the world, as well as my first league that I was placed into. So that was my first book, and of course, we're a month away from my second book being published. It was going to be titled Orange Crush, The Neglected 1971 Houston Astros. It is based off of this one. This is my comp title about the Chicago Cubs of the year prior, and covering the 1971 season and how that team and other teams of that era for the Astros should have been much better if not for some players that were traded away and some other policies the organization had at the time. For those of you who have been keeping up with my journey on that, I don't have much of an update other than all the writing is done, the cover design, formatting, anything to do with the pictures on the inside, they need to be colorized, edited, anything like that. They've been sent off to the independent contractor that Huntsville Independent Press uses. And let's see, Joshua of Huntsville Independent Press told me that he heard from Chris, who's that independent contractor. Chris, and we're absolutely on track. I'll let him know that this is a priority, though, because I did go ahead and make the hotel reservations for Houston for the weekend that I'm going to be there at the former Astroworld Hotel. It's a Wyndham now. It's still near the Astrodome, so that's going to be really exciting. But I figured I want to try to make some videos about book publishing, because I have had some people, not too many, but some, ask me questions about publishing a book. And I can give you whatever advice I can give you. I don't know if I'm qualified to give you advice on writing itself, because writing is just something that comes to me extremely easily. And I guess I don't realize sometimes how well I have it naturally until I read other people's work, and I just see how really it's not as good. There's too many errors. I mean, when I was working with Joshua at Huntsville Independent Press a couple weeks ago, we were walking to the cigar lounge we were going to do our work in. He said he'd never read a manuscript like mine. He found a total of 17 errors in my entire over 60,000 word manuscript, and on average, he finds 7,000. That's a big discrepancy there. I did really well compared to other people. So I could try to help people if they need advice on writing itself, but I don't want to, I don't want to seem holier than thou or seem shallow in my advice, because it's just something that I'm just naturally really good at. All right, and I'm not trying to bloat or brag about that at all. But because of that, I don't know if I'd be the best person to give you advice on that. But I can give advice on the publishing process, or at least from my experiences. I went through a hybrid process once. I'm in the middle of a traditional process now, with hopefully more to come. So if you want to write a book and get it published, once you get it righted, once you get it wrote, and once you get it edited, um, let's back up. Some people start off with saying, I want to write a book. I got to figure out something to write a book about. That is probably not the best approach. That was the approach that I did not take with both of my books. Umpire Diary did not come up because I first had the thought of wanting to write a book. Orange Crush did not come up because I thought I wanted to write a book. With both of them, I had some knowledge and something to offer. And then the idea came to me that the best way to put this knowledge out there is to put it into a book. You start with an idea and then decide to put it into a book. You don't go the other way around and say, I want to write a book, so let's make one about this. Now, can you be successful doing it that way? Of course you can. But if you want to bet the best books are ones that start off as an idea. They don't start off as a book. So that's just something to keep in mind. But once you have it written and everything, I would say find the right kind of publishing process and publishing house for you. There are different types of ways to go about being published. Okay? The big one is traditional publishing. And traditional publishing, there's your big 5 publishing houses out of New York: Simon & Schuster, HarperCollins, Pickwick Random House, Hachette, and Macmillan. Those, as well as many other traditional publishing houses, will not allow you to just submit your work to them and see if they'll publish it. You have to get the representation of what's called a literary agent. And you have to query them first. And then they will go sell your book to a publishing house who will pay the literary agent, who will take their cut out of your advance, and then the rest will go to you. Right now, I simply refuse to go find a literary agent. I don't have to. I'm not going to. Until big publishing houses that require a literary agent start coming after me, saying they want to publish a book with me because my name is big enough, I'm not fooling with it. I'll go to publishing houses that will accept submissions directly from the author, and I'll go with that. That's what Hunts for Independent Press does, and it's what some other places do too. So that's what I go with. That's my preference. If you want to take on querying a literary agent, that's fine. But I'm not going to be able to offer any advice on that either because I simply don't want to do it. It's not worth my time, in my opinion. So to traditional publishing, and of course traditional publishing, I'm just going to try to give you a quick rundown. Traditional publishing, you submit your work to them. They decide that they want to take it and invest in it. You sign a contract, and they publish it, and you don't pay them a dime. The only exception to that may be if you're ordering copies from them of the book at the end of the process. Other than that, if they ask you for money for the publishing process, scam. That's not a traditional publisher. That is a hybrid publisher trying to disguise itself as a traditional publisher, making it a vanity press. Now, I will say, Joshua with Huntsville Independent Press, he did say I could possibly chip in on the cover in exchange for a higher royalty on the contract. That ended up not happening. He ended up being able to get the cover squared away without that. But that can be an exception too. If you work something out by the contract, here, I'll chip in this to help out with the formatting, the cover design, marketing. Exchange, you're going to give me 5% higher royalty or something like that. That can be different too. What I'm referring to is a traditional publisher will never charge you. They'll never say, it's going to cost this much to get your book published. They say that, they're not a traditional publisher. It doesn't necessarily mean you should run, although it depends on how communicative they are, because that brings us into hybrid publishing. That's what this one was done for. In Indie Season Publishing, which is also out of Huntsville, perfectly nice lady. They're a hybrid publisher. Hybrid publisher, you pay them and they publish it. All right. And a lot of hybrid publishers and vanity presses, they pretty much accept anything that comes across their desk because they don't get their money from investing in the book, getting it out there, making it the best that it can be, and then getting money off the sales. They make their money off the author up front. So when they say, oh, you get to keep 100% of your royalties. Well, yeah, because they don't need them. They're getting their money from you up front. There's no investment on their part. You're assuming the investment, not them. This doesn't necessarily mean they won't provide a good product, but there's no pressure for them to. Heck, they can take your money and run off with it. And that happens. That didn't happen with this one. But it's something to be wary of. You know, maybe a hybrid publisher is for you. You're thinking, no traditional publisher is taking my work. I'm going to try to go hybrid. Now, in this day of the advent of artificial intelligence and no gatekeepers to publish, you can easily self-publish and put a book on Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing or KDP. I am afraid of the market getting diluted by books that aren't good. Because now anybody can just put a book out there, selling the market for people who really have good work out there. And so, try to be honest with yourself. If your stuff ain't good, don't put it out there. Work on it, make it good. If a traditional publisher wouldn't accept it, you probably shouldn't be hybrid publishing it or self-publishing it. All right? Speaking of self-publishing, that's another route you can go with publishing. This is where you do everything. You produce the content and you pay to have it published. Costs a good deal of money because you got to hire out your cover designer, hire out an editor, hire out maybe a formatter, and then put everything on a self-publishing platform, Ingram Spark, KDP, Lulu, CreateSpace, whatever it may be, and, you know, get it out there like that. All right? So, you know, there's multiple ways to make your book successful. And if you're wanting to sell a lot of copies, the best way to start out, well, use this thing. Use your imagination. Get word of mouth. Get a few people to get it and read it. And if they like it, get them spread the word. I've had a lot of people like my book. I've only sold a little over 30 copies. I've made a little over $500. Not much at all. I think Orange Crush is going to do a lot better because I'm going to have a wider market. I started getting the word out on that one before this one. I even had signed on with a publisher for. And with Orange Crush, I also have a traditional publisher backing it up. So he's going to want to make sure it does as well as it can. I think that one's going to be a lot bigger. But hopefully that'll spark some sales of Empire Diary too. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and end this now. There's more that I can share, I'm sure. If you want to hear it, feel free to ask specific questions in the comments, and I can continue to share updates on how I'm doing my books, and I can answer questions, provide different insights. And if I don't know something, I'll just tell you I don't know it. All right? I'll be honest. But I'm enjoying how this is going. All right? I'm enjoying the publishing processes that I've been in, and look forward to hearing from you soon, potentially. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.